Well, hello, friends. Well, welcome back to Commute Talk. Today, I thought I would talk a little bit about doing your best because it's something that I've been thinking about lately, and I've had some interesting conversations about it with people. And first thing I'll say is that in the past, I was not doing my best when it came to hobby projects, personal projects, things that I did because I wanted to. I reserved my best for work projects. And I kind of thought of it as my best being this thing that is reserved for my employer, like those who would pay me for my time. They get the best, and it wouldn't be right for me to take some of the best and spend it on my personal things. And it's a very strange attitude, but one that I've learned is extremely common among people. Um, and another one that I also hear about a lot is how it's not fun to do your best. And when you're doing your personal projects, you just want to have fun. And putting in that max effort is not fun. And that doesn't really make sense to me. But it probably did make sense to me in the past because I was locked in this weird way of thinking. But in the last year or 13 months or whatever, I've managed to get out of that way of thinking, and I now can say happily that that I do my best when it comes to my personal projects. Like you can see me working on Serenity, and that is a legitimate portrayal of me trying my best to build something. And I'm happy with that, and it absolutely does not feel like a drain on the rest of my best, and there's plenty of best to go around. In fact, I find that if I spend my free time working productively on something I care about, then that is rejuvenating. It's not draining at all. So I think I had the wrong idea about that, and I think maybe many of us have had bad ideas about this, and I'm not sure why I accepted these ideas. But then again, maybe this just applies to me and does not apply to you. I don't know. I don't know you, or what kind of drive you have, what kind of energy and resources and so on live inside you. But I guess I'm just talking about something that I turned out to be very wrong about, and I've made a change, and I'm happy with the change so far. So one important thing that I realized about doing my best is that doing my best does not mean stopping everywhere and polishing something until it's perfect or even great or good, or like seeking correctness in everything that I do, because that's still not doing my best. And I'm just looking at the road here because there's some construction going on, and I don't know what's up with that. Okay, anyway. Yeah, doing my best it doesn't mean that I have to stop and do everything perfectly. So I'm just going to drive around these people. So that's very obvious to me when I'm working on Serenity, because I often find myself missing some system API or something, or there's some functionality missing, and I end up having to work around it. And in the past, I always thought that doing your best meant that you would go down every rabbit hole and completely exhaust all of the things down there. Basically, like yak shaving, I guess. Like, I used to think that doing your best and being a professional meant that you had to pursue a lot more yak shaving than I do now. Because I mean, I know that yak shaving is an age-old meme and everything, but it really is a tricky thing, because it's hard to learn when to shave it and when to not shave it. And if you're not familiar with yak shaving, it's the idea that you start working on something and then you come across something that needs fixing, so you switch to fixing that, and then in the process of fixing that, you discover something else that needs fixing, and so you switch to that, and in the end, you somehow find yourself shaving a yak because somehow that needed fixing, I guess. That's the general concept. Now, doing your best does not mean shaving every yak, and it just means that you're putting forth a legitimate, earnest, honest effort towards the thing that you're doing right now. And in my case, at least, I know that my like average throughput, programming throughput, however you would measure that, I don't know how you would measure it, but I can tell that it is definitely higher if I say no to some yaks. Because take something like the other day, I needed like a string contains another string function. So like a function that would tell me if one string contains another. Now, in my past life, I would probably have thought, well, time to look up what is the best string search algorithm and which one would make the most sense for the typical data we're working with, and then try to write out a good version of that, and try to build something optimized. And now, because I was working on something else and I didn't want to context switch to string searching, then I just made a wrapper around stir that had a good API that I liked, and it took me less than a minute, and I was on my way to work on the other thing. And I think that's also part of doing your best is like learning to recognize when you should go down a path of yak shaving and when you should let it be or defer. But I've also talked about doing your best in the context of making videos and live coding streams and like just producing content in general, I guess, for other people to consume. I firmly believe that my content is good because of me trying my best. I don't think that me trying my best detracts from the quality of the content. I think it's an essential component of it, because if I try to do it differently, or like maybe simplify things, or not show the honest process, or not try to narrate my thought process or whatever, but just try to make it really palatable, polished, I think that it would be worse. And probably other people can do well with a different set of parameters, but I've sort of evolved my style and my parameters in a way that works for me, and it seems to resonate with a lot of people, I guess. And a lot of people tell me they find it interesting and enjoyable, and I guess I'm just kind of convinced somehow that that is largely because I decided to do my best and decided to be honest, and and to show, if I mess something up, or if I go down some stupid path, or I realize halfway through something that this is dumb and we should do it differently, and then I don't like edit that out, because I think it's good to show that too, because doing your best. I guess I thought when I started this video I would use it as a way to talk myself through what does it mean to do your best? What does it mean to me to do my best? And it is helpful to talk. Thinking by talking is fantastic. So I guess I would add to this that I think doing your best means being intellectually honest, and um, not lying to yourself, and definitely not lying to others. But um, like if something is good, then recognize it as good. But if something is bad, then then don't try to pretend that it's good. Um, and that's a balance too, because it's easy to, when you're writing code, it's easy to become kind of self-deprecating, and you can start to say like, well, this is crappy and this is stupid and blah blah blah, and um, you have to be careful with that because you can get into a loop of convincing yourself that you're making crappy stuff, and then you start to believe that, and it's self-reinforcing. Um, so it's important whenever, at least to me, whenever I say that something is crappy, um, that I go and work on that thing eventually. Because even if I don't show it in a video, I still need that to like keep myself honest. Like if I complain about something that I've made, then I feel a responsibility to go and improve that thing. Uh, I think that's a good trait to pursue. Anyways, I guess those are my thoughts on this subject right now. So that was just a little stream of consciousness there. What do you think about doing your best? Do you do your best? Or are you like me in the past where you reserve your best for your job? Because maybe that's the right thing to do for some people. Um, it was definitely not the right thing to do for me, but I was very convinced in the moment that it was. So I certainly don't hold it against someone who wants to give 120% on their job. It's probably an age thing also. Like the older I get, the the older I get, the less of 100% I want to dump into my job, and now I just want to work at work and home at home. Um, and that's okay. So I'm running out of steam here, so I'm just gonna say thanks for hanging out with me on the commute, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.